It's Brian here with some more Bomber Beta. Today I'm going to tell you guys how to go outdoor climbing, because that's something that is kind of tricky sometimes, and I didn't know when I first started climbing. So I just found the Crag, which is the hardest part, and it's useful to have one of these things, a guidebook. But if you don't have a guidebook, you can actually use Mountain Project. It's a cool little app that you can download on your phone, or you can go on the website and have a lot of information. So first thing you need to do is find the parking area. So there's a few things that you want to take when you go outdoor bouldering. One of the first things, you want to make sure you have your shoes. I take 2 pairs of shoes everywhere I go because you know, I like using different shoes for different things. A nice backpack. I like to do backpack on the front. This is actually a really nice backpack. I just got this as a birthday present, which was really cool. I would suggest getting a brush, although it's not a requirement, but if you do get a brush, make sure it's a boar's hair brush. Some tape, that always comes in handy. Make sure you bring plenty of water. If you don't bring some water, that could be bad. Chalk, and as many bouldering pads as you can carry. Preferably do not go by yourself if you're not experienced, but hey, you know, it can work. Hopefully you guys can see this. I have the backpack on the front, I have my pad strapped here, and then what I'll do with this guy is I'll throw him on top, and he balances real nice. So it's pretty easy to carry. Now, right when I say it's easy to carry, it falls. But one of the things you guys want to focus on if you guys are going outdoor bouldering is can be kind of tricky to find the actual boulders that you want to climb, because sometimes it's not super easy. There's certain areas that you can go to that are really easy to find a lot of things, like the Buttermilks or like Little Rock City Stone Fort. Those things are fairly easy to find because they're so condensed. But then there's also bouldering places like this, Morpheus in Western Washington, which are a little harder to find things because they're a little scattered, because they mostly fell off a cliff and landed near a river or something like that, and it's not quite as dense. So you just have to be careful and kind of figure out exactly where they are. Now, a good way to try to find boulders is either using a guidebook, like I said, which is usually pretty useful, but it can be tricky depending on how recent the guidebook came out and how well it was written. And you can also use GPS, but do note that GPS tells you where the boulder is, doesn't tell you how to get there. Those are 2 very different things. So where the boulder is nice, but very often, you know, the shortest distance between point A and point B, the straight line, very often not the easiest way to get to something. So just keep that in mind, although it can tell you if you're going the right direction. So I'm coming out here with a project in mind. I'm gonna try the Gavel. But if you guys are going out to an area your first time, or you're thinking about going, you probably don't want to go just to climb one boulder, because that probably won't be that enjoyable, as it's really good and it fits you really well. So you want to definitely have a plan to climb a lot of different boulders, as many as you can, and find, you know, something that's fun for you to do. First thing you want to do when you show up is find the warm-up area, which is typically called the warm-up area or something along those lines, and that is usually a boulder that is kind of close to the parking lot, and also has pad fell again. It's a boulder that's close to the parking lot and also has some easier climbs on it. So preferably I would say start with a V0, no matter how strong you are, no matter how, you know, injury resistant you think you are. Start with a nice juggy V0 and work your way up, because that's the safest thing to do. You know, do a little bit of stretching, a little bit of other exercises, and you'll be ready to go. So I will take some footage when I get there, because there is one of those boulders right off the trail, about halfway back to the project. And I'm just gonna run some laps and probably start complaining about how hot it is, and how it's gonna be absolutely miserable, and how I forgot my fan, which is kind of a modern bouldering essential. So kind of screwed up. But anyways, I'll catch you guys at the warm-up boulder. So that right there is the warm-up boulder. I'm gonna leave most of my stuff out here because I'm lazy, and I'm just gonna bring my slider and try and do some pulling. Seems like there's a lot of trees down, so I'm not exactly sure how some of these climbs will go now, but we'll probably find something to pull on a little bit. Yeah, I think this little sloper rail is pretty good. So I'll set this camera up. Hopefully you guys can see me warm up. Might be boring. Might get edited out. Who knows? I'm not suggesting this, but I usually warm up in my pro shoes. Just make sure you clean the bottom of your feet off really well before you do the warm up, or you'll get yelled at probably. I'll maybe do these climbs maybe like, you know, 3 or 4 times, and then I'll be ready to move on. All right, did a few laps on those climbs. Feeling decent. I'm gonna go head out to the garage. I'd say feels quite a bit warmer than I want it to, but we're gonna still give it a shot. Hopefully it's cool over there. I think it stays in the shade all day. So thought about it for a second, and if you're watching this video, you might be wondering why I'm talking about the temperature outside right now. Because gyms are usually close to the same temperature year round. So after you go outside a couple times, you'll notice that when the temps are cooler, generally you're getting better friction and your skin is sweating less. So when it's hot out, it's harder to climb, more or less. You know, it's not impossible, but it just adds that extra layer of difficulty, and you gotta try just a little bit harder. So we'll see if we can get it done, but if not, we'll have to come back on a cooler day. This could also be a warm-up boulder, probably. You know, you can warm up just by doing pull-ups. It's always nice to, you know, grab a few crimps with good feet before you start like reefing on your roof project or something like that. That's it right there. Man, I don't know if you guys can tell, but there's sweat dripping down my face right now. It's not usually a good sign, but all the holds look nice and dry. It's a shady little spot. We'll see what happens. I didn't mention this before, but you're gonna want to pack a little snack and what better snack than a Shima Cliff Bar chocolate brownie. Sounds good. So I haven't been filming since I got to the project, but I've been working out some beta for the top section. And I'm gonna give it a little rest and set up the camera and try it again from halfway through and see if I can piece that together. When you're projecting, trying to do a climb, it's often good to try to do it in multiple sections if it's kind of hard for you, because if you go from the start every time, you'll wear yourself out real fast. Another thing I didn't note is you want to set up the pads under the climb. You want to set up the pads mainly under where you're gonna fall, and then if you have other pads, you can put them kind of more to the outside. The more pads, the better. I don't know if you can ever really have too many, just as long as you can carry them. So I'll get this camera set up and we'll start filming some attempts here. Can't believe I fell on the top out. I'm gonna try and do it. It's probably really easy. I just no chalk, missed the holds, stupid stuff like that. So I just brushed all the holds and chalked them up. If you're limit bouldering, highly suggest doing something like that. But after that little session, I'm feeling pretty warm. So I'm gonna like sit under this cave on these cold rocks, try and cool my body down before I go for ascend. I'm gonna start trying it from the bottom, and hopefully I can do that. Also missed a hold on the top out that probably would have made it a lot easier, but whatever. It is what it is. It's gonna be tough up there, and obviously don't have a spotter right now, so I'm just gonna have to nut up and do it. A little more incentive, I guess, to really go for it when I'm on the send. But yeah, I'm really psyched to give this thing a go. You guys can see the start hold there. It's pretty cool. It's almost like a different kind of rock under here almost. And then these are the holds on the face. There's the first sloper. And there, this tiny little thing is the crimp that I'm using before I go to this like ledge that's surprisingly big, but I can barely hold on to it. So I don't know, it's gonna be an interesting session here. It would be amazing to put it down, but at the same time, I'm not sure if it's in the cards. But I'm in a better place than I was before. I had one session on this earlier this week, and I did the bottom section in one piece. I just throwing a little tick mark on there. Guys, you can tick up boulders if you need to, but make sure you erase them before you leave, because yeah, people don't like that when you leave tick marks everywhere. So I have to make this bump from here to here. And I didn't quite get that bump from the bottom, but I was really exhausted. So that's my only, and then I started right there and I did the top. Well, I obviously fell and then I did the top. So I have kind of, I could theoretically do it. I've done all the moves individually and I've done some overlapping sections. But yeah, it's really important. When you're out here by yourself, guys, be careful. You don't want to get hurt. I have no cell phone service right now, and there's no one else out here that I know of, so yeah, be careful, and hopefully we can get a send. GoPro, stop recording. Well, it's obviously still recording. That was a really good attempt. Lost with my feet way too much. But other than that, pretty psyched with that. So, yeah, see if we can clean it up next time. Just an FYI, the reason I take my shirt off while I'm climbing a lot of the times because it's really hot and I want to cool my body temps down. It's not because I'm trying to show off my ripply muscles. Yes, I could have beat Arnold Schwarzenegger in a bodybuilding competition if he was still on the circuit, but he's not, so I'm not going to compete. I'm just going to go rock. So. Damn. Good burn. It's always hard to fall on the crux. Actually, it's easy to fall on the crux. At this point, take my timer out. I'm set for 15 minutes. And I'll try again when that comes up. So I'll catch you guys then. 15 minutes later, feeling rested. I'm gonna try and send this thing. Man, it's feeling so good, but I missed the heel. probably my last attempt here, so see what happens. Fucking kidding me. Stop! Stop! Know what's gonna happen. So, setting that heel at the end is blind. So, check this out. See that camera? That's pointed right at this hold. You see? I don't know if you can see that. You can maybe stop making it so bright. But I was able to see myself put the heel on, which is pretty cool. But I don't think it's gonna go today. Don't forget to brush your ticks. Very close, but no cigar. We'll be back. But I don't know if I have enough energy to try anything else. Probably gonna save it for another day. If you guys are on a weekend trip, I would suggest you do the same. Don't, kill yourself on the first day and then not be able to do anything the next day. I don't have a ton of battery left, so I'm not exactly sure how much I'll do, but if this is the end, I hope this kind of gives you guys an idea of what it's like to go out in a day of bouldering. Hopefully you have good weather and a lot of friends to hang out with, and you guys get some sense. And leave me a comment down below if you're curious about anything to do with climbing, bouldering, whatever really. Join my Discord server if you want to chat, find something else out. But until next time, peace out.